The Hui Theater, you're not going to get to see the movie without announcements, better known as coming attractions. So I just have a few to start us. Flying Solo, just have one spot just opened. If you're interested, see us at the break. We have sarongs coming. Yes. Okay, Labyrinth. This is transported next Tuesday at 6:30 to 8. Rita's actually doing a little bit more for the Labyrinth, more like a walk, but a workshop, so we can do a little bit of understanding the Labyrinth a little bit more. So that's 6:30 to 8. You have breaking news while everybody's grabbing their coffee. We have yes. Flight tomorrow night. I was saying, I've sent all of these emails out, and do I get I said, please confirm, and nobody's confirming. I'm going, wow. Oh, Rob confirmed, he said. So it's tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. So a couple of things for those who just came. We have some breaking news. Our kids in the kitchen have 3 more weeks, and they'll be out of the kitchen because we got someone to rent upstairs a room during the time of Sunday. So we are renting one room for Sunday, a big room for them. So there they are. The kids will soon be out of the kitchen as soon as she gets some furniture out of her room. Okay, so Artist Way continues on Monday, 6 to 8 with Doreen. Women in Consciousness, Sue, 25th, 24th? 24th? 24th?
Sue will be hosting a movie called The Goddess Project.
The Goddess Project. We have so much going on there. Kundalini Yoga is starting on the 27th. Won't You Be My Neighbor is the spiritual movie this month. Oh, great documentary about Mr. Rogers. And then we have a concert coming up with Jeremy and Amy. CD release, $15 here, $20 at the door. Don't be silly. Don't get them at the door. And then the latest is we have a little fundraiser, thanks to Melissa and Judah. At their house, we are having a book sale, so we don't have to bring them all the way down here. They've opened up their wonderful estate to for us to go up there and do it. So all of that is in the back. All of that is wonderful. So that's a fundraiser, and thank you again, Melissa and Judah, for offering that.
Do you want to say something about the meditation?
I thought we were going to do it. You want to say it before the invocation? Okay, go ahead. We'll talk about that.
Okay, so as far as the meditation in this class, since this class is about self-mastery, we thought that the most important part of this class is going to be to have a spiritual meditation practice. And we're focusing on Joe Dispenza's style of meditation. So it's great if you have your own meditation practice, but we're going to ask that you include his method while we take this class so we can put it to, because it's all scientific and we want to prove, what we're working on. We want to prove it. So we want to see how we feel about doing this type of meditation. There's nothing wrong with trying something new for 8 weeks, right? And maybe you already have tried his meditations. But we're going to do one now. It's 18 minutes long. We're going to do one at the beginning of every class. That's why we said we're going to start on time. And so we will from now on. Well, we actually did pretty good because we did the announcements. Yeah. We did good. Yeah. So who's never done a Joe Dispenza meditation? Yeah. Okay, so you're going to hear some things that are going to seem kind of strange. Just go with it for now, and as we progress through these 8 weeks, we'll get more into what it all means and everything. And my recommendation is just to surrender to it. Something's going to happen to you, but that's it. And so I think that's good.
Yeah, before we do an invocation, just to let you know how that works as far as being on time. So at 6:05, we're going to start, the meditation is going to go on. If you need to do any business tonight, we kind of went over because, it's first night and everything. But if you come in, or it's good for Ron to hear this, don't check in with Ron if it's already started. Just come on in, grab your seat, and then check in with Ron afterwards. We want to be really disciplined with that, and also getting you out on time is one of our really big things too, so we don't go over. And that's very difficult for someone like me to go over and talking or anything. Yes.
Is it okay if we turn the lights down? Please.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be filming anything.
When we do the meditation.
You don't need to see anything. There's not gonna be any picture, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll turn those lights
But
behind.
I'm going to do the invocation before you do that.
That's good.
That's great. And you have the light from that. That's perfect. Okay, so before we get started, let's just get comfortable in our seats. And just give yourself the gift of this thing called now, this wonderful moment called now, that we've come together on divine purpose. The frequency of the divine is moving through each and every one of us right here and right now. And no matter what kind of pounding is on the outside, no matter what noise is going on, it's all a part of the whole experience. So however that is for you, just take this delicious time during this meditation and just allow it to just bathe your soul. So I am in total gratitude for this evening unfolding perfectly, easily, effortlessly, and lovingly. And so with that, I just get out of the way and let it just be so, as together we say. And so it is.
Now, can you rest your awareness in the space between your eyes, in space? And can you sense the energy of space between your eyes, in space? And now, can you become aware of the space between your temples, in space? And can you sense the volume of space between your temples, in space? And now, can you become aware of the space that your nostrils occupy, in space? And can you sense the volume of space that the inside of your nose occupies, in space? space between your tongue and the back of your throat in space? And can you sense the volume of space that the back of your throat occupies in space? And now, can you sense the energy of space around your ears in space? And can you feel the energy of space beyond your ears in space? And can you become aware of the space below your chin in space? And can you feel the volume of space around your neck in space? And now, can you sense the space beyond your chest in space? And can you feel the energy of space around your chest in space? And now, can you become aware of the volume of space beyond your shoulders in space? And can you sense the energy of space around your shoulders in space? And now, can you become aware of the space behind your in space? And can you feel the energy of space beyond your spine in space? And now, can you rest your awareness in the space between your thighs in space? And can you sense the energy of space connecting your knees in space? And now, can you sense the volume of space around your feet in space? And can you feel the energy of space beyond your feet in space? And can you become aware of the space around your entire body in space? And can you sense the energy of space beyond your body in space? And now, can you become aware of the space between your body and the walls of the room in space? And can you sense the volume of space that the entire room occupies in space? And now, can you become aware of the space that all of space occupies in space? And can you sense the space that all of space takes up in space? And now it's time to become nobody. No one, no thing, nowhere, in no time. To become pure consciousness. To become an awareness in the infinite field of potentials, and to invest your energy into possibility. And now, if the thought sends the signal out, and the feeling draws the event back to you, I want you to move into a state of gratitude and to give thanks for a new life before it's made manifest. For the emotional signature of gratitude means the event has already happened. And the longer you linger in gratitude, the more you draw your new life to you. For gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. And now bring your awareness back to a new body, to a new life, to a whole new future time. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
So staying in this beautiful, amazing energy and space, I just speak my word right here and right now, knowing that the effort that we have put into this meditation is made manifest in our life in some way, because the infinite power of God and the power presence of God is who and what we are, and is behind every intention that we have and behind everything that we do. So I put that intention right here for this class tonight, knowing that we are already expanding our consciousness. We are already becoming self-masters. We are already growing into our true selves in the most magnificent way. So I just say, let the time begin. let this good that we have put in already be magnified 100 million times. I'm so grateful. I am so grateful to be here with such beautiful minds. I am so grateful to be here in the beautiful work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, of Dr. Ernest Holmes, and all the great masters that have led the way for us. And now to know that we are also those masters, I am so grateful to know that that's already a deal done in the mind of God, in the mind of good. So I just say, let the class begin as I take this word with such mahalo and just release it as law, as we affirm together. And so it is. Oh, no, it's not going to be off. It can't be.
There's no way to make that dimming.
We don't have dimming lights here, unfortunately.
Someday we
So
will.
let me just turn this off and just go back to my slides.
He wanted to know when the cue was, and I said, and so it is. So he just was following his. And that would be nice.
Interesting. Oh, I am on the slide.
There we are.
Okay, there we are. Okay.
So what a lovely way to start an evening together.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So, we're going to go slowly through this and get to know each other and at the same time. So,
They look like they actually could be related now that I'm actually,
although-
right? Totally. All of a sudden I go, he's like, he's looking at him like, that's my son. He carried on the good word.
yeah.
Ernest
really.
and Joe.
Anyway, okay. So, I know,
Oh my
right?
gosh,
But
you're
Ernest
right.
Holmes said that it was impossible that anybody would ever,
yeah.
he would ever come back in reincarnation. He said if anybody said that he was him, to not believe
Tell
him.
him to
but
run the opposite direction.
anyway, we're all
It's
in
not
one
me.
mind. No, I guess that's not going to work.
What do you mean?
There we go.
That's because it needs to be turned on.
Okay. Oh.
Go ahead.
So let's just, before we do our introductions, let's just talk a little bit about this, what we just did. Why we focus on the body is the first thing. And if you want to read more in depth about this first stage of induction, he calls it, it's in the book on chapter 10 in this book. But the major reason that we focus on the body is because that's where he believes the subconscious lives. And I know Thomas Troward says the subjective mind is the builder of the body. So everything that we are, body, is actually our subjective intelligence, which totally makes sense. That all our emotions, everything is lodged there. And then what is space? It's everything outside of it, but he's pulling our attention out to realize, into the quantum field and how huge we really are, and that we're more, the whole point is that we're more wave than particle. We're actually just energy vibrating. So that's a simplified version of the meditation practice that he does, and he has a lot of them online that are free. You can also go to his website and purchase them at a really cheap price. I have several of them, and he's even put out now a walking meditation, which I'm planning on getting because I do a lot of walking and running stuff. So, but if you want more information, and we'll be discussing it more as we go, that it is in chapter 10, and this is like the second book he wrote, and it's funny because he says don't go to the meditations until you've read the whole book, but he doesn't really feel that way anymore because and
we
when I
certainly
see
don't.
what he's doing what he's doing in his work now, I see that he's just having people jump in. They're going to get better and better at it the more they do it. So what does it mean to become nobody, no one, no thing? What it means, according to him, is to enter the quantum field where you don't have any of your conditions. You don't have any memory of them. You have no future, no past. You're just here in the very present moment. And when you can enter, that's like what we talk about in Science of Mind. It's the first step of treatment, which is the absolute. When we go to the absolute in our first step of treatment of realizing that God is all there is and that we are that is entering the quantum field. So that's how similar that is. So it is you without anything, you without any disease you might have, without any kind of hang up you might have, any kind of condition thing, anything. And that's the other thing. But as we focus, like as he does that focus part of the meditation, it's allowing us to stop our thoughts in a way. If we do it, if we really stick with it. I know for myself, I go out sometime and all of a sudden I mean, I couldn't really do it really well tonight because I was thinking about what was coming next and taking care of all of you. But, but when you start to go to your grocery list or whatever, then you have to pull yourself back to your body. So, and what does it mean to come back to your new body and your new mind? Well, if you've done the meditation well and you get better and better at it, when you come back, you should feel different. You should feel like a different person. When you go into any kind of meditation, you should come out the other end feeling different. You shouldn't go, like sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I'm in some kind of funk or something, and I go into meditation, I sit there until I'm out of the funk. Because what's the point? If you're going to do a meditation, you're going to change. And then, of course, gratitude, the ultimate state of receivership. What else can I say about that? The fourth step of treatment in spiritual mind treatment is gratitude, because we know it's already done. So we only can feel gratitude for our new life already. And that's going to be the energy, like he says, the thought sends the signal out, and the feeling brings the event back. The feeling of gratitude is something that we can generate really pretty easily. I mean, it's not something that's hard to generate. And not gratitude necessarily for a particular thing, but like he'll go through things like just gratitude to just be alive, gratitude for life, gratitude for, your amazing self, just gratitude. And that generates, I know I've been feeling a lot of gratitude lately. I keep sitting at the table going, I just feel so grateful. I'm not naming anything, but I just feel grateful. It's not like, oh, I'm grateful that my bills are paid or whatever. I'm just grateful. And I think that's what we're talking about, and what all the mystics have talked about is to feel gratitude. So
I just want to add one thing to the become no body, no one thing. I know when I first started with that reason I said let's really define this is because it can get when someone's going the space of my nostril, and I got all caught up in, am I supposed to be in my nostril right now? I mean, I got all like taking care of business, right? Until I finally let go. But it's not just the negative things that we're detaching from, like the Eastern philosophies have told us. It's everything. It's even all the things that are going so fabulous right now. It's about complete detachment. I know that a lot of our purpose is to get away from the stuff that's kind of weighing us down, and that's why meditation is so great. But really to a state of becoming just totally no thing, nothing, and just vibrating at that frequency. And that means that even the good stuff, we're detaching from everything for that moment so that we can approach everything in our lives from that energy. Because a lot of times we think we're walking around in a comatose state, like, I just want to be relaxed, and we're all, and our world has a different way of looking at it, but this, what it assists us in doing is approaching all the things that give us angst, as they say. I have a new thing this week, is that I don't mind being uncomfortable and out of my comfort zone. But stress is not necessary. It's man-made. And so I was really clear in a session with someone that I said, oh no, we're not saying we're going to walk around going, I'm no one, no thing. How are you today? And you go, I'm no thing, no better. We're not walking around like that, but we're walking from the place of, oh, this might feel a little uncomfortable. But the moment stress enters, you're in a completely different frequency that is absolutely man-made. Absolutely, we made it up to give it some kind of a definition. So that was my thing. I'm going to see if it works now. Did I fix it?
We just wanted you to tell us why you're here, like why you chose to take this class, and so we can all know each other, all right? We don't want to, please be conscious of the time, so just a couple of things just to say why you're here and who you are and all of that. That's all. Yeah.
As we're staring at Desiree, right?
Desiree, we're starting.
Oh, I'm Desiree, and
Thank you again, Rob, for everything.
And we also have one online person. We have Tom Teal. Hi, Tom. I don't know if he's watching. And Sherry might be there. And Dr. James Mellon said he might be watching. So hello to you all. All right. We're not so advanced they can talk yet, though, but we're getting there.
That's cool. I'm Desiree, and I'm just mainly here to expand. I'm going through so many neat shifts, and I'm totally tuned into so many neat things that are going on. So I'm just expanding. And I do love Joe's work, and I love CSL, and I love you guys. So I'm excited for this class. And real quick, 'cause I've done Joe Dispenza things on the no place, no time. To me, it's just being completely open. You know, and walking around that way, you being open. Not that I'm a zombie, but just being open. Yeah. So that's kind of how I get into it.
Absolutely.
Just
Nice. Judah.
So I'm Judah, and I'm here because I'm starting a new life. Melissa and I are separating, and I'm moving back to Colorado, thus the book sale. And I really want to empower whatever is next with as much vigor and vitality and gratitude and peace and grace as I can. So that's why I'm here.
I'm Diane, and I'm Reverend Diane. And I'm here because of the books. Living the Science of Mind has never been my favorite book, and so I want a new idea about it.
Wow, that's interesting.
And I'm looking forward to being and discussing the Joe Dispenza book in community rather than just reading it myself. So, and I've taught self-mastery, so it'll be nice to be taking self-mastery again. Yeah.
This will be a different self-mastery.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and I'm taking this because this is why I started taking classes, because I have a very, very strong subconscious and body, and I really want to get a handle on it. You know, I want to work within it so that I can really elevate to the next level, and I'm fully integrated. You know, I don't know how to describe it.
Well, when
but
you say you have a strong subconscious, what
We
you're
all
saying
do.
is you have a lot of stuff lodged in there you don't really care to keep
Exactly.
around much longer.
Yes, and it always comes through,
Right.
out through my body. And
Yeah, and it
You know, I
does.
want to, I don't know, being in control, that just
Right.
doesn't really do it. But it's like, I want to work. I mean, I want to work with this rather than have it work against me.
I gotcha.
You know, whatever, I don't know how to describe it.
You're very clear.
Excuse me, I'm Sue Wood. I'm taking this class because that's what I came to this island to do, is to be in a safe place where I could go deeper and deeper and deeper and change, not this divine woman that I am, but change my perception of her into the truth. And I'm enjoying doing that, so thank you.
I'm Jamie, and I am new to CSL, and I'm so intrigued and in love and entranced with it. And I wanted to delve deeper into both of the books. Any opportunity to get further education about this amazing philosophy is like, I'm all for it. I've also been going through so much change in my life and feeling this sense that I'm not always present within that change, that I feel like I'm constantly moving so quickly that I would like to get better at being present and enjoying what I'm going through versus flying through it. So I'm hoping that this will help with that.
That's good.
I'm Elizabeth. Actually, my name is Elizabeth. I came back to Kauai, and I didn't know exactly why. I knew it would be a struggle, and it has been, mostly financially. But it came to me recently that the reason I came back was for this philosophy, to learn this, to be a part of this ohana. And so I'm in this class to go deeper. And I believe we are the pioneers. When I heard what Marianne said about the creative use of the mind and how we could have, if we'd come together, we could have turned that storm away, I had been thinking that before I heard her say that. and she was ridiculed. The mass media ridiculed her. And I realized we are the pioneers, and it made me want to get better at this, learn more about it, become a master myself. So that's why I'm here.
Well, when we master our own lives, that's how we change the world, not trying to change people that don't want to change. Yes.
Aloha, my name is Heather, and I am taking this class because I am at a major crossroads in my life. I am also, I guess you could say, beginning a completely new life. I'm just coming out of a very traumatic, abusive marriage. I have 2 young daughters, and it's been really trying for me. But I think, this class came up at the perfect time. I'm just really ready to fully embrace, and I've been trying to go back to learning more about, positive affirmations and really putting that back into practice. But it's hard because, I'm kind of constantly getting pulled back into that trauma, and so that really resonated, talking about just truly just being here now without that story, that past, and I'm trying to master that. And so I think, it just was perfect. I saw that this class was available, and I just went, wow, what timing. It just felt like I had to be here, and was hoping that the childcare would come together, and it did. So I'm just very grateful to be here and learning this with all of you. So thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Heather.
Hi, my name is Loretta, and a couple of reasons I'm here. One is to expand and grow spiritually. And one way I do that, I can read books all day long, but one way I do that best, I think, is working with other people and learning from other people, and applying what I'm actually reading and being more accountable to getting the reading done, and just instead of taking my leisurely time. And then really the other reason, though, is during the last class, I took the power of decision. I made the decision, a depth decision, to be happy. And so I've continued to do that. And I just feel like this is just another level of continuation of that. So.
Hi, I'm Chia. And when I saw that I just knew I had to take this class. I'm in love with Joe Dispenza. Yeah, but
Started with Rita, now we
I know.
If we get about 40,000 together, we might be able to get it.
I've been, the combination of these 2 books call me so that I can put the practices together. My experience this morning was that I do have a couple of his other meditations, and I listened to one, and it took me so high and so conscious that my head was up in a new place and my feet were anchored to the ground. And I've never experienced that before in my whole life. And it was just because I really listened and I really followed it, and it happened. So I know the power of it. And so I'm really excited to experience this class with all of us doing this together, because I know the power of a group is just going to make it off the scales for us.
That's good. Thank you, Chia.
I'm DJ, and I'm here because I came to CSL a couple years ago, and it just has been so inspiring, and my life has just really changed, and so many wonderful things are happening. And even when things happen that I don't want to happen, I'm just able to be more okay with it, not be all freaked out when things happen that normally would have freaked me out. And I'm especially glad to be doing the class, because I do like also to be with the people and in the energy of the group. And have that sense of community. And so thank you.
You, DJ.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron.
Hey, Ron.
Reason I'm taking this class is expansion. Since I've been coming to CSL, I've been expanding, but I've been expanding at a slower rate because I hadn't been able to fully take advantage of all the classes because of outside conditions. So, but this year, I moved those outside conditions to the side so that I can be more present in the classes and be more present in CSL and be more present in the literature. So it's purposeful, it's on point that I'm here, you know, and there's a few more classes that I will be taking. And I looked at some of the other classes that I had taken. I still have all of that, the class notes, and I looked them over from time to time, but I want to be more on point and more on purpose with my studies of science of mind and spirit and treatment.
I'm feeling nervous, Ad. My name's Adara. And I feel like I'm here to integrate some polarities. I'm here to shift out of being she who knows and gives, to be she who receives and is part of a group that's receiving. I'm also here to share the vibration that's opened through me with the full and humble recognition that there are things that my local mind still has in my subconscious, and then when I'm with a group of people who are showing up authentically, what is unknown to me will be reflected to me, you know, in this space, and I'm ready to deal with what's been stopping me that is unknown to me, and to create a new life. Yeah.
That's beautiful. What's unknown to me will show up because we're all a reflection of each other. That's beautiful. That's
I
beautiful.
like that cohesiveness of a group that everyone has spoke about. A couple things came up that I had a little intuitive burst, as it were. Heather, I just want to say when Heather, you were talking about why you were here today, that's an important message for all of us. This is when we can do our best work, is when we are perhaps more vulnerable than we have ever been in our entire life. And it is so important to trust ourselves, to say, you know, a lot of times, not anybody in this room, but a lot of times when things are going on, we have a tendency by conditioning to move away from it. I'll go take care of this, and then I'll go back in where everybody's all. And it is this time that we can go into this container and really do the work that is required of us. So I really want to acknowledge that and acknowledge all of us for that courage. And then whoever was mentioning control, I think it might have been Melissa, all of us actually probably have a little bit of that somewhere. I had this interesting divine spark when you were talking that how funny we have been wanting control for so long to be safe, and we've never had it. I said, we have never had control. And yet it seems to be the thing that we have been, if I can just get control of it, when in reality, the openness that we're speaking about is the total control of being able to handle life in its vibration that can move mountains. But it's the other way of us wanting to control it so we can feel safe. And I've got it down, right? That stops that energy that we're even talking about here. So we will have all the control we have that we could ever have wanted when we give it all up. The want for it, the need for it. Wow. So thank you, everyone.
Also, when we show up like this, the universe responds back to us. Absolutely. There's no denying it. When we show up and say we're open, we're ready, then it responds back, and it gives us experiences like this and even deeper and more. So I know that for all of us as we come together here to do this, that we're going to see amazing shifts in our lives. We're not even, we can't even fathom what they're going to be right now, but I know we're going to all have amazing, beautiful shifts. So that's what I'm claiming.
And Rita, I was talking to her last night to you about this. We're going to have shifts because we're going to demand them. I really want that to be a clarity as well. Instead of, well, maybe if I take this class, something magical might happen and it might feel good in this, you know what I mean? Opposed to, oh, guess what? I don't have to wait to have a shift because I demand that shift from the very essence of who I am and the being of who and what I am. And I may not know how, I may not know what it is, but I'm clear about one thing. I have the right to demand it because that's what we do. We have a law at our finger, right, the palm of our hands that we can use that is us. So let's just think that way, like whatever it is that we want for this time, more strength, more whatever it is. Say, yeah, I already know because I'm going straight to gratitude for something that hasn't happened yet, but I know it has happened because there is no time or no space in the mind of God. So there you go.
There you go. So, so these are some of the things we're going to be doing. We are going to practice, like I said, the Joe Dispenza meditations, and we want them to become a daily practice. And we're going to begin, when I said 6:05, that's with the announcements being out of the way, with the meditation. So if you're late, please wait in the back of the room until the meditation's over. Journaling, we highly recommend that you start journaling with this class and your discoveries, because it's going to help you with your final project, which I'm going to explain in a minute. And there will be reading and writing assignments that we'll include in the class dialogue every time, all right? And now the final project, we always have a final project in all our classes. This one is very specific, but you can present it any way you want. Basically, we want you to pick one or more of the 4 corners of life that you want to self-master. If it's your health, if it's your wealth, your relationships, or your creative expression, or what we call in Science of Mind the 4 corners of life. Health, wealth, relationships, creative expression. And we want you to pick an intention for yourself for that area that you want to master and apply the principles of this course and bring back your results in your final project. So whatever you came here for, like some of you already said.
We're scientists.
Yeah, we're scientists. If we apply the principles that we're going to learn here, what's going to happen by the end of, week 8? This is only an 8-week class. I mean, it could happen tomorrow. So, but if we have to do the work, that's the whole thing with this. And, Ernest Holmes will tell you, you got to practice it. Joe Dispenza, any person that's a spiritual leader is going to say, if you don't put the work in, if you just wait till, Tuesday night to do your homework, then it's not it's not going to happen.
Been there.
You got to like start taking it into your life. If you learn something here about being no one, nobody, no thing, you got to go into life, like I think you were saying, to be open or to be that person in life and see how different life looks. You got to take it into life. So, and then if you decide you want to register yourself with CSL because you're going onward for practitioner studies, there is a $45 registration fee that's due at the end, okay? And you already gave me 20 of it, but the only class what's interesting, the only CSL registration fee that's $20 is the elective, and there's only one elective. We already took it, but I mean, we'll probably offer another one at another time. Okay, couple of things that we're going to review in Science of Mind, because some people here might not know what these things are because they've never been in a Science of Mind class. Who's never taken one of our classes? Nadara, but you hear us on Sunday, but you've never taken. But we don't usually, any class, Science of Mind class that we've taught here. Yeah, okay. You might not be familiar with these terms, so we're going to go over them slowly through the process, okay? And one of them is the creative process, which is always going on. I'm not going to explain it now, but you probably already know what it is. Thoughts are things, basically. You plant a thought, and it comes out the other end as an experience. Spiritual mind treatment. It's always going on. That's the whole thing. It's always going on. But the thing about spiritual, that's right, and spiritual mind treatment is going to be an important part of this class. Who does not know at all what spiritual mind treatment is? Has never done a spiritual mind treatment. Don't be shy. It's all right. Never? Okay, it's all right if you haven't.
That's why we're here.
And we have people here that can help you too that know what it is. But this allows us to consciously direct the creative process for good in our lives. So it's just like at the end of the meditation, I did a spiritual mind treatment that everything that we took into that meditation would manifest in some way in our life. So it's like directly directing our thoughts consciously. All right? Yes.
This felt really important to me. When I prayed about being part of the class, what tumped me over the edge was wanting to add my energy in this class to the rebirth of CSL, and I really wanted to put that, I wanted to anchor it right now as an intention, that we
Thank
create such
you.
a wave that we're part of that rebirth.
Thank you. And look at, we got a place for the kids, so see,
Mahalo,
it's already
there you go.
happening. Yeah, and then part of the self-mastery class are the core concepts. So every week we will do a Science of Mind core concept. And the metaphysical chart is a tedious thing. Those that have been in class know what it is. We're going to end up giving it to you as a project that you can take home and figure out and bring back to us, okay? It's basically no, I'm not even going to say it now, but we will be going through it, all right? These are all parts that are important to know. And yeah, so.
Yeah, but here's the deal.
We will explain it.
Here's the deal about all of this. Rita, you can say you're welcome right now because you can say thank you, and I can say you're welcome. Because here's the deal. What Rita and I went through for 8 years of classes and stuff, and the amount of energy they put on things, in my opinion. Not James Mellon, if you're watching, because yours was brilliant. No, I'm talking about way before James. But here's the deal. We spent a lot of time on stuff to memorize it, to get it down so that we could pass our test, as Reverend Diane knows. And I said, before we came, I said, Rita, what's your intention for this class tonight? Patrick, what's your intention? My intention is that you get it and use it. It has been that's my only reason for ever even wanting to open up this center, was that all of you, whoever comes in our path, can take the power that you have always been, and that all we have to do is wake up from the amnesia that we've been under, the sleeping, whatever, and use it. So yes, to pass a test, you better know your metaphysical chart.
And that's why we're going to go through it.
And that's why we're going to go through
For
it.
those of you that go on to be tested.
And it's the same with the spiritual treatment. There are 5 powerful steps to direct us.
That's important.
But sometimes the treatment is this: enough is enough. I'm ready. I'm ready to receive. I'm worth it. Let's go. Have at it. I got this power. Have at it. That sometimes doesn't have anything to do with the steps. So our big thing is, she's already turning on me. My big thing is, these are important, but what's more important is that you work it.
Right, that's the most
Work
important
it.
thing.
Work
Yep.
it.
Very
Work
most
it.
important thing. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do,
I was just stalling time while she was there.
the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, as long as we're saying we're going to be self-masters, why don't we define it?
Okay, but I need my pen.
So, you have your pen. I need the pen. We just thought we'll come up with our definition, then we'll see what the book says, and then we'll go from there. But that we have a working definition of what it means to be a self-master. I mean, okay, so wait till he comes back with a pen, and we'll just write down a few things. So just think about it for a moment. What does self-mastery mean? Do, 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 do. I think all the great mystics know about self-mastery. I've just been reading a lot about Hinduism lately, and those guys really got it down. They've got self-mastery down, and those monks. So anyway, what is it to you? But that's what it is to them. So what is self-mastery?
And I'm just going to put a few of the words you say, because I don't like them.
You can pass this one to the next person that wants to speak.
Self-knowledge.
Self-knowledge. What does that mean?
For me, it just means knowing who I am, knowing what I am, and knowing what I have the power to do, what is mine to do, and then doing it. Being in that secure space where I know who and what I am and what are my abilities, and I do them. I don't shrink from them. I don't pretend that I'm less than, You know, I am me, and I don't blend in. I stand out.
So you'd say,
You
like,
know,
is it I stand in my power?
I own my power.
Yeah, you
I
stand in your
own
power.
my power.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I'm comfortable with it.
Right. Yeah. Do you feel like it's hard to get to that point where you own your power?
There are times when I want to pull back.
Okay.
So it's not hard to get to, but there are times that I want to pull back. So the reason I'm taking this class is because I want to be at that space where I'm always up front with who and what I am and what my abilities are, and just be, you know, really, really comfortable with it.
That's great. DJ, you want to say?
The word trust really comes up for me in this. It's trusting myself, trusting spirit, and just that deep trust that what comes to me, both as desires from the inside and as reflections from the outside, that it's good.
So what you're saying is, it sounds like you're saying you want to just trust the things that you intuit, the things that you feel are right for you. You want
Yeah.
to trust that instead of doubting it, like second guessing.
Yes.
Okay.
And
so
also
live in
trusting
trust.
that what, you know, that my desires will manifest.
Okay. So trusting your word, trusting that your word has power.
So while we're going to Melissa, I want to do this about shrinking back. There's a thing about when we want to pull back, the first thing I say is, I wonder why that is when going forward is so rewarding. But there's also a huge, huge responsibility that goes along with owning our power. Because we might be in a whole world that's around us that may not be owning their power. And it may feel very uncomfortable to own that power. So that might be why we sometimes shrink back, can be, because it's a big responsibility. Melissa?
So self-mastery to me is having skill and knowledge on how to move forward and to live my life and to really have dominion and sovereignty over myself, which is basically freedom from external control. It's just trusting myself, knowing that I know what to do. And I'm connected to the higher mind. I'm connected to God. I am God.
Right.
And really knowing that and living my life in that way.
That's beautiful. And it is a skill. It is a skill to stay centered, to stay in your power, to know that your word has power. That's a skill. It has to be perfected because we're always pulled, right, from the outside to know something opposite. So, yeah.
So for me, self-mastery is willing to be vulnerable and to look with open eyes at what I've believed to be the mistakes and the regrets of my life and reframing them into something else, and just being willing to be seen, being willing to be vulnerable.
I love it.
To me, self-mastery obviously is inner work, and to me, one of the big elements for me is, what is my purpose here? Why am I here? We're all here for reasons, and it couldn't even just be, it doesn't have to be a big master to change the world or anything, but what is my purpose? That is one of the big elements. And also, too, I realize it can change. You know, you're excited about it and you're doing it, and then there's something else that, but just within your whole heart, your mind, and there's a real big vision, at least I have, that, you know, what is my purpose? And then to try and just keep that in mind and be true to myself.
So are you saying that is a clarity of purpose? Like
Yeah.
that you really know what it is and you're
Yeah.
willing to step out that way?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
To me, self-mastery,
Yeah.
that would be, you know, what is your purpose, and then go do it and have fun.
That's good. Anybody else? Adara? And then Loretta.
What comes up for me is self-mastery is shifting my identity and my awareness from the tip of the flame, this apparent thing, back into the flame, you know, and so that my identity is in that space. And not as a thought, but as an embodied reality, so that as I walk through my day, I am source of peace to joy in me that is causeless, ceaseless, that I am source of my response to life, regardless of what is going on around me. Yeah.
Walking your talk, walking your essence.
I think partially for me, it's meaning having some self-discipline, which may include does include spiritual disciplines, regardless of how I feel. And when I say regardless of how I feel, I'm not discounting my feelings, regardless of how I feel, sort of more like my subconscious feelings that are dragging me down or weighing me down, or all that stuff that I might not be aware of, like letting go of that and not giving into, I guess, old habits and ideas and beliefs.
Okay, good. Chia, then Judah.
I just have a few words. To thine own self be true.
To thy own self be true. Know thyself, and to thine own self be true.
For me, it's multi-layered. First and foremost is the ability to respond rather than react. Both to what's going on in me and what's going on outside of me. Second is be able to consciously choose my thoughts and feelings. It ties into being reactive, but to choose it. The other thing is to live in integrity, so I actually do what I say I'm going to do. And the last thing is maintaining a daily practice. Because I can have all this wonderful stuff going, I'll get great momentum going, and then I'll get disrupted, and then I'll lose the practice. So,
Yeah, the daily practice is what's going to help with all those other things. The daily practice, what we do when we get out up in the morning, how we regiment ourselves and how we discipline ourselves is going to affect everything that comes into our day. Everything, our thoughts, all those things you spoke about, reactions, responses, all of that. Yeah, Heather?
I just keep thinking about belief in infinite possibilities, but not just that it's possible, or not just that hope, and not just that temporary belief, but actually staying the course and really just knowing that it already is. So that belief.
So having the faith to stay on course and to know that things are getting better right now, and to keep that frame of mind, when it's not easy to have that frame of mind when all this other stuff's going on, right?
I love that T-shirt, temporary belief, because it's so true, right? We'll get that, or like Judah was just talking about, you get it, right? And you're vibrating, and you're out there, and then all of a sudden it felt like, what happened? Because you went back, as you were saying, you went back into something that was distracting, disruptive, whatever it is, and we want to pull that power with us when we go in or to these situations. So it's great. I love that idea of it's a temporary belief. How do we live fully in that belief? And by practicing. Oh, no.
Heather said something that just really resonated for me, and I didn't see it on the board, and I was hoping we'd put it there, and it was about unlimited possibility.
Infinite.
Yeah, but I really, what I've been getting is, I'd like to shift from my history creating my future to really opening into what you're talking about, the field of infinite possibilities. So I'm a child of wonder, being surprised and delighted by something that's beyond anything I ever experienced before. So thank you.
Yes,
for saying
thank
that.
you.
And that's what this whole work is about, is not creating from our past, because that's most of the time what we're doing when we're not self-masters. We're dredging up our past and thinking that's our present, and then it turns into our future, because we're just carrying it around with us, and we think we can't change when this is what the whole point of this whole thing is.
Because we're using it as reference.
Right.
So we want to make a decision to move forward in a whole new life. And in order to do that, we have to be open to a whole new life that's never happened before, but yet we're going to use all of our, file cabinet comes back and says, well, when I did that before, and blah, 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 and you're using that to go forward, and then you go, I don't understand. Why do I keep attracting the same guy? Oh, I don't understand. Why do I keep blah, 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 blah? And that's because we haven't let go of that whole past, that idea of them. Why do I keep getting myself in this jam? Because we're using the file cabinets from the past. So,
And
good
also,
stuff.
just what Dr. Joe says that really helped me a lot is the idea that your emotions are stored in your body and you're addicted to them.
Addicted.
You are addicted to that emotion. That's why people find themselves in the same relationship over and over, and they go, why did I attract the same guy again? Because the emotion, whatever that emotion is, that charge you get, even if it's a negative one, it's lodged there. And that's the whole process, is to let go of the old emotion and plant a new one in there, one of gratitude and love for oneself and all of that. But can you imagine that we're addicted to our emotions? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I want more of that. Give me another shot of that.
Mm-hmm. And you think, well, who would be addicted to that emotion? But we are addicted to it because of the control factor. Because even though it's crap and it's making my life miserable, I know it.
Right.
I got it down. I mastered that. And so I mastered it. And you're like, I know my stuff. And they go, well, have you tried this? But I've never done that before. I'm not a master of that. And we're saying, oh, but we are. And all it takes is the decision. Yeah. Good
So
stuff,
we're
you
going to
guys.
take a break in a minute. So I
But
just,
I think we're not done yet.
well, I didn't know if everybody wanted to
Yeah.
say something.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we're going to take a break at 7:15, Patrick.
No, I just
Yeah.
wanted to say, and it's pretty much repeated what everybody else said. It's about like loving me, being my best me, and living that and loving that at all times, no matter what.
Being my best me and being good with my best me and loving my best me. That's beautiful.
Which, of course, reminds me of a wonderful quote by this Master Patrick. We were talking about, I said, what is it that we feed our inner child in order for it to be productive and healthy and loving? And that is self-love. When we feed self-love, we have already mastered it all. Self-love, self-love.
And
yeah.
being okay for everything that's happened to us, like being okay with ourselves about it, and knowing that that path that we were on, whatever it was, doesn't have to be the path of today, but it was something that happened, and we can bless it and let it go and not beat ourselves up over it.
Anything last before we, we haven't gone on the board? Okay.
So we're talking about being addicted to those past emotions. Made me think of a song that was I Second That Emotion.
Second that
Yeah,
emotion.
yeah, I second that emotion. I just keep making that emotion, and I second that emotion, and I vote for that emotion, and I pass that emotion, and I stay in that emotion.
I forgot about that song.
I'm trying to get out that emotion.
And I've taken residency in that emotion.
I just had a flashback of a dream that that speaks to this. I was not living in Hawaii. I was in someplace else that I can't even remember. And I had a dream, and I was in Hawaii, and I had all these suitcases, and I was pulling them around. And I kept opening up the suitcases and tossing things out until I finally got to the end where I opened up the suitcase and there wasn't anything in it anymore. And then I tossed the suitcase away and just kept right on
that's
going.
profound.
So that's freedom. It's freedom from all of our stuff is self-mastery to me.
Wow.
Because wherever we go, there we are.
Yeah.
Wherever.
Okay.
Woo-woo.
So
Okay.
hopefully you can
Okay.
read the small print. Okay, definition of the self. Like we have to have a working definition of what the self is too. We've got two selves. They're not split personalities, but there's a self with a capital S. That's the one we are, our true self. That's our quantum self. That's our God self. The true self is both uniquely individual in expression and universal in nature. This self is not conditioned by personal experiences. It is limitless in potential and is characterized by unconditional love. That's the one you've all been talking about. I want to be my true self. I want to be, that's the one we're working with. Then there's this other one, which is the field that we work in a lot, right? The small self. It's the ego, or the limited way that we think of ourselves, which has been shaped by personal experiences. It includes beliefs about our limitation, mask, defenses, judgments, illusions, fear. You're going to have to take it over because I'm choking.
Shaped by personal experiences. It includes beliefs about our limitations, masks. Oh, the lovely masks. Masks, defenses, judgments, illusions, and fires. It's fires. Now that's the Midwestern way to say fear. Fires. Fires. You guys, no humor, please. No.
Our mentor used to have a word for this. He used to call the little self, the ego, was edging God out. And the real ego, which is God, was entertaining God only.
Yeah.
So
the big
edging God out is the little ego, and the big ego, the good ego, the ego of, transformation, whatever you want to call it, the quantum self, is entertaining God only. I know. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I wish I'd done it.
James is on there, wasn't that James's?
Yeah, that was James's.
Yeah.
See, we gave you
There
credit.
you go, James. He's probably not even on there. We're just like making that up. No.
Anyway. Okay.
But one thing I do want to say, and then we're going to really break for a moment. Ron, who's in the dark, I got to say something about it. He takes this class with us, and so I just want you to know. All of a sudden, I went and I saw Ron.
Why are you
and,
sitting
and I
in the
said,
dark?
Ron, you don't have to sit there. And Rob is getting so much out. He's already taken these. It's a whole new. He's a practitioner, but he's made it clear that just by all these classes that he's been doing, totally has been a whole different experience for him. So I did see Ron in the dark. I said, you don't have to stay in the dark.
Why are you staying back there in the dark? Get up here. We want you here.
That's right. But now it's a break, so you don't have to get all comfortable because
Okay,
they're going to all leave you.
Let me
once
just
you-
finish the self-mastery
Right.
thing off, and then we'll go to the break. So I just found this picture, and I thought it was cute. Take off the E and go. Let go. Let it go. Okay, this is from Ernest Holmes. Self-mastery. A process. It's a process, a journey. Just remember, it's a process by which we take command of the ego self, correcting limiting beliefs and attitudes and bringing them into alignment with the universal principles by which the true self lives. Think about what those universal principles are while we break, and to venture beyond the walls of the ego into the freedom of living in steady awareness that spirit within is our true self. Spirit within is our true self. Deepening and strengthening of this awareness brings growing mastery in the art of living. When we realize who we really are, like you said, Ron, and many of us have said, how could we would have to master living. We would have to be able to, no matter what came in our field, we would be able to handle it. We would be totally looking at it in a different way.
And that, just so you know, that was a picture of Ernest Holmes when he was a little boy. The one back. He was a powerhouse even then.
I love that movie. I got to watch that movie again. No, it wasn't the greatest movie. All right. Dr. Joe says, and I read this at church the other day. Well, first of all, he said, if you can't control your mind, everything and everyone else will. Well, it's true,
Ooh,
right?
so true.
So if you take intellectual information that you learn as a philosophy and then initiate that knowledge into your life by applying it enough times until you master it, you will ultimately move from a philosopher to an initiate to a master. Yep. And there's scientific evidence to prove this. So it's great to be a philosopher, but I want to be an initiate and then a master, right? I mean, when we move into the field of being initiate. So anyway, so on that we'll break.
So, as short as, because, short as you can, because we have a lot.